Well, good evening. I think we just need Counselor Chandler, so let's give her a minute or two.
Mayor, Judith, can you hear me?
Yes, Judith, we can hear you. We can't see you.
So as you know, as of yesterday on Becker's Lane and our surrounding area, we've had internet and phone out. Very frustrating. So I've been kicked off just in the last I've been kicked off 3 times in the last 5 minutes just joining this meeting, and I can't pull up my packet online. So I'm going to hang in there, but it's as Denise Howell can attest to, major problems on Becker's Lane today and yesterday.
We understand.
So frustrating.
Right. We can see you now, although your picture is frozen. We can get a little sporadic movement, I guess. Okay. Well, so I will.
See,
well,
I can do. It just keeps kicking me off. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I know they're working on the internet problem on Becker's Lane, but maybe Denise Howell can give us an update on that.
well, it's okay. Let's soldier on as best we can, and we'll try to get through this. I mean, we can sympathize with your situation, Judith. Okay. Looks like everybody we need is here, so let's go ahead. I will call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting in Manitou Springs City Council for January the 19th, 2021. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So Judy, if you'd please display the American flag. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Counselor is Judith Chandler.
Here.
John Shada.
Here.
Julie Wolf.
Here.
Susan Wolbrook.
Here.
Steve Brimner.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nancy Fortune.
Present.
And Mayor John Graham.
Here. Thank you. Okay, so the first item of business tonight is approval of the agenda. You should all have been able to see the agenda in your packet. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you, Councilor Chandler. It looks like we have seconds from Councilors Wolf and Mayor Pro Tem Fortune. Is that correct? I believe so. Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please say aye. Show of hands also. Thank you. And thank you. Judith, how do you vote? Well, it was 6, so I think we're okay.
She just
We'll
popped
push
back
on. And Denise, I don't know, maybe it would be appropriate if there's any insights you can give us about the internet situation on Becker's Lane. I give you a real quick.
I don't have any insight. I just sent an email. I did get an email this afternoon from one of the residents, and it was the first that I heard about it. So I did send an email asking for an update, but I have not received anything at this point, so I'm not sure. One thing that we might be able to do, Judith, do you want to come to City Hall and get signed in? And you could bring your laptop and we could get you signed in here. Would that work?
I'd rather not if I can help it. There was a CenturyLink truck out at the corner.
You could also maybe try your hotspot on your phone. I have found that to work sometimes whenever other things didn't work. Oh, she just dropped off.
Dropped off.
Oh, Judith, do you have a hotspot on your phone? You might be able to try that.
She could,
I just want to say that the whoever was working on the stuff on Becker's Lane knocked out all of the CenturyLink lines in our area last night.
Could she call in on her cell phone?
I'll do what I
Or you.
I can't call it on my cell phone.
And you might try the hotspot on your phone too. That may work depending on who your service is.
I'll try that. So who would I dial into if I lose you again?
Judy, do you want to
I'll send you the link.
or text her?
Not be able to, she may not see the link if her internet isn't working, so it might be better to tell her the phone number.
That's great. Yeah, because I can't pull up my council packet either.
Judy, can you text her or text me and I'll text it to her?
Sure.
Okay.
Just, I guess for future references, if this happens to anyone, we could, as Denise suggested, a counselor could go down to City Hall and work out of the small conference room there. Of course, we'd have to arrange to get access and so forth, but that's one option for the future as an emergency. Okay. Well, while
This is Councilor Walbrook. I'm sorry, I know who I am. I've done that, Judith, and it actually works really well. Denise has helped me with that a couple of times.
Or the hotspot. So we're going to send that to you, Judith, or if you try the hotspot on your phone, if you have a hotspot, that may work too.
Judith, can you hear us at all?
I'll try the hotspot. If that doesn't work,
Judy, did you text me the number?
I'm working on it right now.
You might be able to go with the proclamation, Mayor, as we try to get this going.
Well, if there is no objection from council, I'll go ahead and skip ahead to do the Martin Luther King Day, Junior Day proclamation. I don't see any objection. This is pretty straightforward. City of Manitou Springs Proclamation number 0221, Proclamation Martin Luther King Day Jr., January 18th, 2021. Yesterday, of course. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. changed our nation forever through his leadership, service, and clarity of vision. And whereas in the brief time Dr. King walked upon this earth, he devoted his life to strengthening the content of American character and called our nation to live up to its founding principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all its citizens. And whereas through his determination, spirit, and resolve, Dr. King helped lift souls and lead one of the greatest movements for equality and freedom in history. And whereas the City of Manitou Springs wishes to honor the lasting legacy of this great American, remembering the ideals for which he fought, and to recommit ourselves to ensuring that our country's promise extends to all Americans across this great land. And whereas, as we observe Dr. King's birthday, the city of Manitou Springs encourages all Americans to celebrate his memory by performing acts of kindness through service to others. Now, therefore, we, the Manitou Springs City Council, hereby proclaim January 18, 2021 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Manitou Springs and encourage our citizens to remember Dr. King's fight for freedom, equality, and dignity of all races and peoples. Dated this 19th day of February, 2021. Thank you. Now, see if Councillor Chandler's having any better luck.
I can hear and see you. Can you hear and see me?
We can hear, but we can't see you.
She's turned off.
I would propose that while Councillor Chandler works on this, we go ahead and get on with the meeting if that's agreeable to everyone. Okay, I see no objection there. So next item, public comment on non-agenda items. Judy, do we have anyone who's expressed an interest in speaking?
No, I don't have any hands being raised or
Okay.
any of that, so.
Okay, I don't see any hands either, so. Just, okay, let's push on then. Next item is the consent calendar. We have two items on the consent calendar tonight. First is a request for reappointment by Jeannie Vrobel, a reappointment to the City Planning Commission. The second item is approval of the January 5th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to accept? See, Councillor Wolf has her hand raised to take that as a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second by Mayor Pro Tem? All in favor of approving the agenda, the consent calendar? Favor? Okay, thank you. We'll push on. We've done the presentation of the Martin Luther King Day proclamation, obviously. Next item is recognition of Jared Starling for 40 years of service. I believe this will be presented by Jeff Jones, head of the Public Works Department, Lynn Johnson, also Public Works. Right, so Judy, if you could bring them over.
Yes. Start bringing them over now.
Okay, and
I
believe Mr.
believe
Cheney.
Roy's already on, so he's,
Okay, yeah, that's right, and Mr. Cheney will also be participating.
and do we know if Star is on the call tonight?
Let's see.
Jeff, is Star on the call?
I hope so. He was invited.
That would be thoughtful of us to invite him.
Yeah.
I don't see him in the attendees.
I would just say if you are Star under one of our, as an attendee, if you can use the raise hand tool so we can find you easily. I'm looking under just your name and it's not popping up.
Yeah, I don't.
Judith can hear us and can see us, but we can't see her, just so we.
Okay. Okay, that's good awareness. Jeff, I'm wondering, would it make sense for you to try and reach out to Star so that he can actually be here?
I think that's what Lynn's doing right now, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, great.
Thanks for giving him a call.
Okay, great. All of us are of a certain age are pretty familiar with the idea of experiencing network difficulties, or TV difficulties. So,
Which are usually my fault, not anybody else's.
yeah.
Mayor, wondering if we can move, I know you've approved the agenda, but as we try to reach Star and get him on, if we would want to go ahead with the two hearings and then recognize Star so we have time to get him
I
on.
was thinking the same thing. Yeah, if there's no objections from council, we'll go ahead and move on with the hearings.
Mayor, Lynn has her hand raised, so maybe she has a
Oh,
thought.
okay. Okay, Lynn,
Real quick, Star said he doesn't have the ability to get on Zoom, but Judy, he said if you wanted to call him and help him, he might be able to call in.
Okay,
I don't know if that's possible, but he doesn't have a way to get on Zoom.
he
Okay, this
doesn't.
is-
Okay. Um,
Well,
Lynn,
it's-
would you be able to text me
Yes,
his phone number, a way to reach out to him?
yes.
Jim, what if we take that, let's move
This-
that back and let's have
Yeah.
them work the details while we go through hearings 1 and 2.
I'm wondering, yeah, I'm just wondering, quick question to Judy. If we go ahead with the hearings and you're trying to help Star, is that going to cause us problems as far as you're being able to pay attention to the,
No, just get my attention for who I'm bringing over.
okay, all
Focus
righty.
on the phone here.
I think
Okay.
Lynn will be able to help him too, so we can do that.
Okay.
And Lynn could just put him on speakerphone and let him
Yeah.
listen on as
Yeah.
well.
Denise, are you able to just forward that same call-in number to
I
Lynn?
will.
Thank you, because that's all I was going to do is have him call in.
Right, well, that's getting worked. Let's go ahead then with the first hearing. Or actually the first of the two hearings. First item is a second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 0221, an ordinance amending the zoning code of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado to rezone the private property known as 6 South Path from commercial to high-density residential zoning district. And I believe we're going to have Michelle from the planning department for
Yes.
this. Okay.
I'm bringing her
We-
over right now.
Okay, and while she's coming over, of course, we discussed this, or it was discussed on first reading 2 weeks ago. There didn't seem to be too much controversy about that, so we may just need a refresher here. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So,
All right. Well, Michelle, you have the floor. This is the rezoning at 6 South Path.
Great.
And I think you described it to us 2 weeks ago, so perhaps if there have been any updates or questions, that might be the first thing to address.
Sure. I don't have any updates. We haven't had any questions. Nobody from the community has contacted us. And the applicant hasn't changed their request. It is to, they're in the process of platting off the residential units at the back of the property. And so going to a residential zoning, the planning department recommended that. They are requesting, per our recommendation, high density residential from the current commercial zone for just that portion of the property, what will be the new lot that's being created. And the planning commission recommended it unanimously, and staff has recommended approval at second reading.
Great, thank you. And in looking at the participants list, I don't see the applicant. That was Mr. Edmondson. Do you know if he would, Michelle, do you know if he was planning to be here tonight or had a representative?
I don't know if he was planning to be here, since there wasn't really much discussion the last time. He probably felt like you all could fall back on me if you need anything.
I will ask if there's anyone here representing the applicant to raise their hand in the attendees in Zoom. Okay, I see Natalie Johnson has raised her hand. So look, if the city clerk could bring Natalie over.
she's on her way.
So I'm certainly here, but Doug was the lead on the application. But if you have any questions, I'll do my best.
Anyone have questions for Natalie? Okay. If not, I would like to go ahead with the public comment portion of the public hearing. So I will open the meeting to public comment. Let's see if we have, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this?
If we can
Please
just
raise your hand.
them- Yes, thank you. Use the raise hand tool.
Raise your hand tool. Okay,
Okay. No
and I
hands.
don't see anyone raising their hand, so I will declare the public hearing closed. Council, do you have any questions for either Michelle or for Natalie? I don't see any inquiries. I think we go ahead and entertain a motion at this point. Counselor Wolf,
To approve the ordinance 0221.
second,
Second.
seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Fortune. Any further discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand. Okay, Counselor Chandler, how do you vote? Counselor Chandler?
I just got a text message from Judith. She said she approves.
She approves. Okay, so the motion passes 7-0. Very good.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Natalie. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, all right. Next item, also a public, second reading and public hearing. This is ordinance number 0121, an ordinance of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, imposing a temporary one-year moratorium on the acceptance of applications for vacation rentals. Okay. Michelle, I believe you're the staff point of contact for this?
Christine was going
fine.
to be here, but I don't know if she's online or not, and I'm certainly happy to try and pinch hit if you need me.
She's here. I can
I
bring
do
her
see
over.
Christine in the audience, so,
Okay.
Christine is here, so we'll move you off and bring Christine over.
okay. Yeah, if we can bring Christine in.
Hi.
Hi, Christine. Okay. So Christine, you'll be our staff representative. You have the floor.
Okay, great. Thanks. Nice to see everyone tonight. So yes, so 2 weeks ago, we did discuss bringing forth this proposed extension of a short-term rental ordinance. And the background on this has to do with a desire by council and planning commission to explore further the qualifications and the process by which we look at short-term rentals and manage them in the city. And staff have proposed that this be a part of the municipal zoning code rewrite project and work in tandem with that. And that's why the moratorium is, rather than 6 months, that's being requested is 12 months. So that is what's coming forward to you tonight for a hearing. I will tell you that between our first reading and tonight, the planning department hasn't received any calls or emails with comments specific to this. So I don't have anything in addition from the community to share with that. And so I look forward to a public hearing to see if there's any additional feedback the community might have. Mayor Graham.
Good. Sounds good. And with that, I will declare the public hearing portion of this meeting open. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this issue? If so, please raise your hand in the show hand tool. I'm not seeing anything. City Clerk, I see you shaking your head
I have
apparently.
nothing.
Oh, we have nothing. Okay. In that case, I will declare the public hearing portion of the meeting closed. Open up to council for questions or comments. Not seeing any account, not hearing any questions or comments. I guess we can entertain a motion.
I move approval, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Shade. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Fortune. Oh, and thank you, Judith. We have 2 seconds. That's great. Okay, any further discussion? No? Okay, let's vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Raise hands, please. Okay. I'm sorry, Judith, you're,
That's Judith.
oh, I see your hand up. Okay, all right. So motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
Great, certainly. Moving right along. I'll ask Judy for quick status on bringing Star over.
We still don't have him on, so let's go ahead and move to the next one. They're still
Okay.
working on it. I just got a text, so let's go ahead and move to the next one. and-
Okay, I will assume then that Judy and Denise, you two are continuing to work. So let us know when we might have connection with him. All right, next item of business, contract and plans for Soda Springs Park Phase 1. And Denise, do we have, is the planning department presenting this?
Dole is bringing it, and I
sorry.
also think Danu is
Okay.
on bringing Danu over. Dole. Yep, there we go.
Okay, great. Okay, very good then. Guess we'll start off with Dole, please.
Yeah, actually, I get to actually turn that honor over to Danu. Danu, I'm hoping that you could just give a little bit of background on the project and how it originated and kind of how we got here to this point.
Like
knew
she
you-
just got kicked out.
I know you're muted and we can't see you either, so.
I'll give her 30 more seconds and
We could see her a second ago, so she must have just lost her connection.
well, I can give a little bit of a briefing while we wait for Danu to do that, but this is for the first phase of the Soda Springs Park reconstruction project where we are working on the westernmost kind of corner of it, looking to make some pretty significant improvements, play area, walkway, creek access, and maybe add in some more sod and just try to help improve the area. Looks like Danu might be trying to get back.
Yeah, she is.
There she goes.
Okay. Phew. It didn't like it when I raised my hand. Yeah, Dole, if you want to keep on going, that's fine.
No, I would rather just have, if you can go back a little bit and kind of help tell the story about how we got here, I can take it after that.
Okay. Well, we all started, Parab started working on Soda Springs Park back in 2011. So this has been a long-running project, and it's gone through three different construction designs and 3 different grant applications to GOCO. And the last grant was finally approved by GOCO in 2019, and the final design was also accepted by the public and by the Parab board. So we went through all our public process meetings and did the whole 9 yards to get everything in place. And now we're at the point now where we have a contract on the table to have the Monarch Landscaping and Construction Company actually do the construction build of this project on the west end of Soda Springs Park. There was a little article in the Pikes Peak Bulletin which sort of talked about it a little bit, but I know in your minutes you also have more information too that pretty much documents the same information that was in the article, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you folks have any.
Okay. Let's give Dole an opportunity to add anything else on, and then we can move into question mode.
Sure.
Dole?
I just kind of want to let everyone know the status. If you guys all want to, we could walk through, and I know you see it in your packet, but the first sheet or 2 of the plans are a colorful illustration of what the project's going to look like. And I can't take any credit for any of this. I came in late. I just kind of helped get the plans reviewed and finalized and help get them out to add. So, if the contract would get approved, then we would get signatures and get Monarch started soon. One of the neat things about this is that there is going to be a custom built boulder that the kids will get to climb on with some netting attaching it to other things. So I think when it's done, it's going to be a pretty neat playground for everybody to enjoy.
Great, thank you, Dole. Council, do you have questions or comments? Councilor Wolf, please.
I just have a comment. There's a lot of activity happening in that part of the park every night. It's right across the street from my kitchen windows. A lot of homeless people hanging out there doing drugs, screaming, yelling, partying. They mostly come at night, so they might not harass, the people who feel like and hopefully wanting to enjoy the park. I guess my comment is I wish we had a little more police presence there. I guess that's my comment.
Well, in the new design, there's one existing light there now in the park, but the light is out. So that's what makes it so dark. But in the new design, we're adding 2 more street lights, the kind that will match the existing ones in the Manitou Avenue streetscape. So there'll be in total 3 lights that will light up that area at nighttime, and one will be over in the corner where that bridge is, where it's really dark, right by the creek. The other one will be right in front of the play area, And that also will illuminate one of the favorite hangout places that the homeless like to hang out. And then the other one is the existing one, which is over by where the proposed sod area is going to be. So I think that'll help a lot. But I agree with the police presence too, because we've had a lot of trouble with the pavilion also, with homeless people hanging out there doing drugs.
Thank you. Do you have other comments, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, supporting Parab on this, they worked, as Dunu said, for years on it. And part of the thing with parks is usually if you activate them, that's a term of art I learned. If you activate the park, it tends to lower crime and folks that you're not really wanting there. So that should help. It's additionally been a very, very high priority in the community for a long time to fix up Soda Springs Park, even before the floods of 2012. And it really got wrecked in 2012, or it was used, as a flow through and then to collect a lot of the debris. So I'm just thrilled that this is finally happening after years of trying to get it done. So I certainly support this effort.
We've also, we're having to coordinate that construction with the MAPS project and also with the CSU gas line coming through there. So it's been a lot to coordinate and manage, but I think we so far are going to figure it out.
Good, thank you. That's encouraging.
Yeah, I just want to say, Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to say thank you for all your support that you've given us, Mayor Pro Tem.
You're welcome. I'm the liaison to Parab. That's why I've gone to a lot of Parab meetings. I'm ready to make a motion if there's
Okay.
if we're ready for that.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
Sure. I move that we approve the construction contract between the City of Manitou Springs and Monarch Landscaping and Construction.
I second that.
Second by Councilman Shada. Any further discussion? No, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. 6, Councilor Chandler, how do you vote?
I think she votes with us.
Hear me?
Yes, Councilor.
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Chandler votes yes, so it's 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, your vote's been counted. It's
crazy.
Motion passes unanimously. Great, well, thank you. Danu, thank you for presenting. Dole, thank you. Right,
Thank
move
you.
on to the next item. Resolution number 0321, a resolution adopting the Pikes Peak Regional Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan Update 2020 as the City of Manitou Springs Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan and resolving to execute the actions in the plan. And this was a topic we heard about during the work session last week. So do we have, Denise, were we expecting to have anyone present? I was
Karen
thinking.
is going to present. She's just going to very briefly talk about it. And basically they presented last week, and then you guys can vote on the resolution.
Karen, thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Graham and council members. As Council Administrator Howell noted, we provided a fairly in-depth overview last week. And in this week's report, we added cross references to pages in the plan per suggestion. And so again, this is a 5-year plan. We worked with the Pikes Peak region as a participating jurisdiction, and they've asked the participating jurisdictions to have our governing board adopt the plan by resolution. I did note that there is one word missing in the resolution. I want to specify that we're adopting this as our regional plan because we also have our own local plan. Somehow that was omitted, so we can add that administratively. And then also just to note that planning staff will be providing an update on our local hazard mitigation plan in the near future.
Thank you. Council, does anyone have questions for Karen? I don't see any questions. I think this was discussed pretty thoroughly last week. We'll I would entertain a motion.
I move
Okay.
approval of resolution 0321, the resolution adopting the Pikes Peak Regional Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan Update 2020.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shada. And I also saw
second
councilors. Okay, and I want to acknowledge councilors Wolf and Mayor Pro Tem Fortune who also raised their hand.
Do we need to expressly say with the amendment as proposed by Ms. Birchtold?
Yes, I think we should probably state that we want to have I believe the word regional added in the appropriate place. Would that,
Yes,
would you
that's
take?
fine. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Shada and Councilor Chandler, I believe we took you as the seconder. Is that agreeable?
We lost her again.
Yeah.
Yes, she says yes on our text message.
Okay, good. So we have a motion to accept the resolution with the addition of the word regional to modify the plan in the appropriate place. Any further discussion? No? Let's all vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, and Councilor Chandler?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Okay, so
Aye.
motion passed.
Vote.
Okay, oh, thank you, Judith. Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karen, thank you very much.
Very welcome.
All right. Are we having any luck with Star?
No, I don't think, but we could go ahead and recognize him and it will be recorded and we'll show it to him with the recording, but we cannot get him on. There's some, Judy, did you just get off?
I just got off the phone with him. I gave him another number to try. He's gonna try it.
Okay.
And I told him to call me back on my cell phone if for some reason it wasn't working for him again.
We can also put him on the speakerphone with Lynn, as Lynn just said, so we could do that, then that way.
That's a good idea.
So we could bring Lynn over and bring Jeff over and just put Star on.
I just had a phone number pop
There he
up.
is.
It's him.
Just
Okay.
showed up. There we go.
Over. Okay. And
And
he
we'll
will
bring Jeff and
me.
Like things are falling into place. So we
Okay.
will come to the recognition of Jared Star Starling for 40 years of service to Manitou Springs.
Yes.
Hold on,
Star,
give us one moment. We got to bring Jeff
Bring
and
everyone back over.
move
Jeff
Kieran
and Lynn
back.
back. Yeah.
Okay.
And then move Karen off, Judy.
I'm working on it here.
Okay,
It's got a delay, so.
okay, there we go. Okay, we're all here, Mayor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Jones, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Star, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, good. We saved the best for last, obviously. So I'd like to start off with saying good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members, and a special good evening to Star, who has reached a major milestone for anyone. So Star, I want to take this moment to congratulate you on the completion of 40 years of service to the Manitou Springs community. I and the rest of the city are proud and extremely lucky to have such a hardworking and dedicated member on our staff. Your relentless pursuit of excellence in serving this city and its residents has not gone unnoticed, as you constantly prove your worth and wealth of knowledge on a daily basis. The city has received many compliments and words of praise from the residents, and we are delighted to have such a valuable staff like you with us for the past 40 years. With determined spirit and an excellence in all you do approach, you have brought credibility and resiliency to the public works staff as you continue to lead, train, and mentor other members within our department. You, Star, are a proven leader and a team player who truly demonstrates a one team, one fight mentality, which sets a benchmark for all to follow. So with the deepest and sincere gratitude to you, your service, and your family. I thank you and I salute you as you have passed a rarely seen longevity mark of 40 years of service. Thank you, Star.
Thank you.
And Lynn, I think Lynn is going to also do a presentation, Mayor.
Okay, right. Yeah, Lynn, would you like to go ahead and present?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for this opportunity to recognize a very special event for starters. Dear Gerard Starling and Star, as we've all come to know you, congratulations, Star. This is a significant year for you as you celebrate your 40-year service anniversary with the city of Manitou Springs. You are the backbone of Manitou Springs and an example of what it means to work hard and dedicate your career to be the best always. It shines through every single day in the pride you take in your work. You have been a mentor to me since I began my career with the city of Manitou Springs in 2014. You have been a mentor to many employees during your long tenure. Over the past 40 years, you have seen many, many changes in Manitou Springs and in this organization. You were here during the lean years, steadfast, and a reliable pillar here for residents and staff alike. You were here during the emergent times, notably, most recently, the Waldo Canyon fire and subsequent flooding, helping the city and its residents. You were here during more fruitful years, ready to improve the city whenever possible. Most of your career was with the water department, but you have stepped up wherever you were needed. A true team player, not only with the public works sector, but all the departments from administration to finance to planning. To this day, many residents call looking for Star. You are well known and appreciated throughout this community, a reflection of the value person you are, and not just your loyalty, but also your can-do attitude and steadfastness. Your knowledge, dedication, loyalty, and team-oriented work ethic is invaluable to the city of Manitou Springs. Your coworkers say that they are proud to work alongside you. Your wisdom is irreplaceable. You are an inspiration to all of us. People are and always will be our greatest asset, and you are the perfect example. You are an important member of our team, and your abilities, contributions are an important part of our continued success. We thank you for your loyalty and dedication to this community. We can't wait to see what else you have in store for us before you decide to retire. As you reach this milestone in your career with the city of Manitou Springs, it is with great pride that we present this service award to you. The award reflects our appreciation for your dedicated years of service and is a symbol of your personal and professional achievements.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity for being there for 40 years and being able to do the things that I have done and to be able to learn and be able to teach. It's been a great pleasure, and I thank you all.
Thank you, Star.
Thank you, Star.
I believe Mr. Cheney might have something to say also. Roy, did you have comments?
Yeah, I've known Star for 16 years. I thought I was here a long time until I found out how long Star was here. Even if you double mine, I don't beat Star. So it's amazing how long he's hung in here. He's done a great job. I'll give you a little story today because you think after 40 years, someone would just kind of go through the motions, but I get a call today that there's a leak at the pool on the ozonator. So I come in to help with that. And there's Star on a ladder fixing the ozonator, which I'm sure he's probably never touched one before, putting in new bulbs. And before I know it, it's working. The lights are on, it's ozonating the water, and the pool didn't have to shut down. And that's typical Star fashion. He will jump into anything he has, from parks to streets to everything. I think he's done everything at plumbing at Public Works at least once or probably twice already. So we're real fortunate to have Star as part of our crew, and I hope he gives us another 10 or 20 years, Star. So don't go away. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
I'll
everything
try.
you
I
do.
can't guarantee that though.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would any council members like to make comments? Yep, Councilor, Mayor Pro Tem, please.
Just one thing really quick, we talk about people who do or do not live in Manitou Springs, and I've lived here for like 11 years now, and I think Star has spent more time in the city than I have. So I really appreciate what he's done and what the other staff does as well. So good job, Star. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Star, on behalf of the community, thank you very much. 40 years of service to the city is quite a stellar record. You're in a very small group. You might be the only person in that group with that sort of longevity, and certainly your dedication is admirable. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Well then, Jeff, Lynn, thank you very much. Again, Star, thank you for persevering and making the connection with us tonight. It would be nice if we could do this in person. Perhaps someday we'll be able to shake hands again. Great.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next item then. Believe it or not, it's not 7 o'clock yet, and we're ready to address council correspondence, to receive or act on council correspondence. Would anyone like to start off? Mayor Pro Tem? I think you had your hand up.
Just very quickly, URA meeting on Friday morning, and I did ask them if they would look at putting additional trees anywhere in the URA. So they pretty much agreed to discuss that and to take a look at that. Jim Reese had some ideas about it. So that was good. We should expect, they're going to forward Barbara Winter. She's a resident here in Manitou Springs, her name to council to be approved to be an additional member on the URA board. Council actually approves those. They just nominate folks for the board. And lastly, they plan to put a spotlight on the eagle down at the Pocket Park in the URA. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe Councilor Wolf, you had your hand up also.
Yes,
Councilor Wolf?
thank you. Thank you. I didn't get your email, Mayor, until just a little after 5 tonight, but I was concerned that I believe what was decided at the last meeting was that with respect to the Thorpe plan for the library design, it was my understanding that upon my request, Denise assured us that the RFP would specifically provide that all 3 drawings out there of 3 renditions of the library rehab or remodel be presented and be cost out. And I didn't go back to listen to those meetings, but I looked at my notes and I relied on my memory. Yet when I read the RFP this week, it said that in so many words, that the Thorpe design was the only design that shall be cost estimated and finalized. And then it's up to the contractor or the vendor, whatever you call the people that we hire, it's up to them to decide if they're in the mood, then they can incorporate anywhere from 0 to 3 of the ideas from the other 2 designs into the Thorpe design at the discretion. So those are 2 very different things. If council is comfortable with the RFP as drafted, even though it's not what we discussed, then so be it. But the RFP was not what we discussed, in my opinion.
Councilor, if I can speak to this a little bit, I did discuss this with Denise. I think in general terms, it does fall within what we had asked for out of the RFP. There was something in there about 3 alternatives, and I didn't quite understand that. I didn't remember that going back to the meeting. My understanding after talking to Denise is that staff's thought was that we should have entertain several alternatives. I think probably in general terms, that may have been suggested during the meeting. I don't think, I'm not sure we were really specific. I think 3 is a number that staff came up with, say as opposed to several. So maybe there should be some clarification. One thing I would say, I don't think we can discuss this at great length because it's not an agenda item, but if council is interested in putting on an agenda and discussing it, we could certainly, I think, do that. I'm sorry, Julie, I think you had a comment?
Oh, yes, thank you. I was just going to say the RFP did use the number 3, but it said that the vendor can incorporate up to, I think those were the exact words, up to 3 of the ideas from the other 2 plans into the Thorpe plan if they felt like it. So that's like if you get hired to work on someone's house and they bid you and they're going to pay you $25,000 and they tell you you're going to be remodeling the garage and you can also remodel up to 3 additional rooms if you feel like it for the same price. You probably won't do it because who would do that? Doesn't make sense. So I would submit that it's not at all what we discussed. If you think it's what we discussed, I'm willing to let it go.
I think if council members want to put it on the agenda, I'd be certainly fine with that. Or if we want to if we just want to discuss this, then we'd need to do it in detail at a future meeting. So,
Would it be inappropriate or would it be appropriate, Mayor, if I just said a word or 2 about why I think it might be worth discussing?
I would be okay with it. I think we need to be brief since it's not an agenda item. I don't want to run afoul of the records laws. So yeah, if you can be brief, Julie.
Okay, the reason I'd like to see this on the agenda, you all, again, is because, as you might recall, the library retained G.E. Johnson to do a drawing when we got the complaint about the ADA violation. And they presented that to us and they paid good money for that. And the library decided that drawing would totally meet their needs. And then we have the Thorpe drawing, which appears to probably be the most extensive and the most expensive financially. And then we have another drawing. So if we just want to go with the most extreme drawing or the largest footprint and the probably highest dollar cost, which would be the Thorpe, then there's no need to ask that the RFP require consideration of the other drawings. But I thought it might be helpful for us to look at a few alternatives since we have a lot going on. We have financially, we've got Hiawatha and perhaps maybe the community would like the idea of a solution that is acceptable to the library and less expensive than Thorpe. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up so that the community would have options. I know this is something that Susan Woolbrook seemed to be interested in possibly on behalf of her ward, looking at a smaller footprint solution to the ADA issue. So that's why. Thank you.
And I would support putting it back on the agenda for this very discussion.
Without belaboring this too much, other council members have questions?
I guess I would support Susan's suggestion that we put it on the agenda.
Put on the agenda. Okay, thank you, Mr. Shada. And Mayor Pro Tem.
I agree.
It sounds like we have 4 people. I don't think it needed to go back on the agenda because I think it's completely in line with the resolution that we passed by a majority vote, and that the RFP has plenty of community process in it, and therefore, things can change dramatically. So I found it to be perfectly in line with what we had discussed. But you've got 4, it sounds like you've got 4 to put it back on the agenda. Unfortunately, that really starts kicking the can down the road, but so be it.
Mayor?
Yep. Yes, Denise?
A couple quick things. Can I just make a couple of comments, and then let me see if Christine wants to come over, because I know we have to be careful. But
Sure.
Councilor Wolf is correct. It does say the consultant will produce up to 3 design alternatives. It does also say that final design will be reflective of modern library practices, which could be different than what the Thorpe design initially had at some point. So it does talk about the modern library practices, which I know some of you have mentioned before. And then we did follow what you guys passed in the RFP, what to put in that. We have reached out to a couple of people who, and one of them who has provided an alternatives design, and we asked questions and concerns that they may have had, and they felt like it was appropriate and may bid on this as we move forward. But let me see if Christine wants to come over real quick or not. Christine, do you want to come over? I'm trying to see if I got an email from her or a text.
She could also use the raise hand tool if that's quicker.
Okay, Christine, do you want to come over? Or let it go as is? Yep, she does want to come over, so we can bring her over real quick.
It does sound like we have 4 council members, or at least 4 council members in favor of putting this on the agenda, on a future agenda. But Christine, if you could speak to this, please.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So the language, and and again, we're getting pretty far into the details if I did this, but, and I don't know that it's appropriate, and Judy, stop us at any time. I do have the resolution that was passed up on my screen, and I also have the RFP that was established. And in the resolution, we used the language was specifically used that it would be reflective of the process that was previously engaged and approved and endorsed by PARA, by HPC, and prior city councils. We are completely in acknowledgement that the Thorpe designs, as they were generated a number of years ago, need to be modernized. Current construction costs need to be allocated and determined for any of the designs. There is a desire that if the footprint of the building is to be substantially changed from where it is now to anything larger, that it doesn't get any larger or change significantly from what was approved through HPC and PARA, because we don't want this project to be any bigger than it was already proposed. I think that is a perspective embraced by everyone involved in this. So we did not use any language that was different than that. And yes, I would like to see up to 3 designs that come forward with price analysis. That doesn't mean we don't start off with 7 or 8 that go through a vetting process, but ultimately, as I wrote in the RFP, I would like up to 3 that come forward for a final design and cost estimate. So that is not in contradiction to what was discussed in the resolution or in any of our meetings here. So I think that, and as well, there's a pretty substantial file of design input, current and past, that we'll be going through with whoever the consultant is that's chosen, a consultant team that's chosen. So anything that has been submitted or approved or discussed but not approved, that'll all be considered and costed out.
Good. Thank you, Christine. And my understanding is the RFP has not gone out yet. It was, I think the original timeline was sent out yesterday, but it's been held pending a decision here.
Correct.
Councilor Wolf, I believe you had your hand up.
Thank you. I just wanted to note that if in fact, it sounds like Christine and Denise believe that what is written is identical to what we discussed, I'd like to write 3 sentences that I think is identical to what we discussed and present it at our meeting, because I disagree. I mean, it's just, you know, it's like, is this red or is this black? You know, it's not a gray area. And what is written is not, in my opinion, at all what we discussed. And up to 3, anyway, I'm not going to go into the details. I'm just saying, I think it is worthwhile for us to have another meeting, and I'd be glad to present some language that I think is consistent with what we all voted on last time.
All right, in that case, I think let's just kind of do a show of hands and see who on city council would like to have this go on to a future agenda. We would need 4 votes to, of course, to do that. All in favor of putting this on a future agenda? Raise your hand. Okay. And Councilor Chandler, how do you vote?
Oh, here she is.
That's on.
Judith?
Do you want to put this on a future agenda, Judith?
Can I ask a question to Jeff Parker? Judy? Oh, sorry.
Right, Judith?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so we have
I vote to put it on another agenda.
4 yeses. Okay. Thank you. Denise, do you still have a question for Mr. Parker?
I have a question for Mr. Parker and Judy. Is there any possibility, because that moves the timeline back quite a bit, that if Julie sends us an email with what she thinks and we look at that and say yes, and we send it out and nobody responds unless if they have a problem and they only respond it to Judy, could we move forward with that so that we can get this going, or do we need to wait for the next meeting?
Well, you know, I mean, if city council wants to just basically allow, you know, administrative staff to review it, and if they agree that it's okay to include Councilmember Wolf's sentences, that's fine. But, you know, the sending out the email and waiting for a response, and if there's no response, then it's okay. That's pretty much having a meeting without having a meeting. That could be an open meetings violation. But you could certainly have council say, yeah, if you all agree that's accurate, you know, if staff agrees it's accurate, then go ahead and just put it in. That would be allowed.
Okay, but we'd have to send it out to make sure everybody agreed to it. That's the only way I think we can make this work.
Yeah,
Okay.
then that would be an open meeting.
Okay.
Councilor Wolf?
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. We've tried that. We told staff what we wanted. 4 of us think it doesn't say what we wanted. So I'd like us to take control and make the decision to make sure it says what we voted it to say, rather than these emails from staff and they're like, oh, you have to write back within 24 hours or forget it. Well, you know, we're busy. We can't always write back in 24 hours. So I stand by my position that I'd like it to be on a future agenda.
All right, we had a majority of council said that they want to see it on a future agenda, so I would hope that we could get it onto the next regular meeting, which would be the 2nd of February, Groundhog's Day. Seems like a good day to go back and revisit things, I guess. Maybe it's unfortunately prophetic. We don't get too much in the way of humor around here, so bear with me. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put it on a future agenda. Continuing on with council correspondence, do we have anything from anyone else? Okay, I do have a couple of things. I received comments from a resident of Crystal Park Road complaining about aggressive drivers on Crystal Park Road. That was forwarded on to the police chief. Also last week, or 2 weeks ago, we heard from, or maybe it was last week, we heard from residents of the Beckers El Paso area. They're concerned about traffic violations and speeding in that area during the construction time. So that information has been forwarded on to the police chief. The second item I have is it's time to do the annual council evaluation of the city administrator. My intention is to send out a PDF form on Friday. Yeah, counselors, if you would, and there'll be a deadline there. I think we've got a couple of weeks. If you would print that out, fill it out by hand, and then get it returned to the city clerk's office by the deadline, that would be good. We'll go ahead and then schedule a meeting to continue on with the city administrator's evaluation. The third item I have is that we,
Before you go on, may I ask you about what you just said?
yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead,
Can you
Julie.
just tell us what kind of deadline you're going to be giving us on that? Is it going to be hopefully more than 48 hours?
Yeah, let's see. Let me, I think I've got that.
I've got it right here. It's January 22nd. Do you have it, Mayor?
No, I guess I don't. Yeah,
January
if you-
22nd, you would distribute it, then council completes it and submits them back to you by February 12th. And then I do my self-evaluation and get it to you by February 12th. And then there's an executive session on March 2nd and March 16th.
So there'd be a 15-day turnaround time. And I think it's about a 4 or 5 page questionnaire. So does that seem reasonable? Okay,
Oh,
great.
that's wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, that gives you a little time. You can think about it if you want. And then, and there would be a physical paper copy that would need to be returned to the city clerk's office if you would. Okay. Oh, and then the last item I have is that we won't have a meeting next week, so there will not be a work session. Could all take a Tuesday night off. So, and we'll be back to business on Groundhog's Day. That's all I've got. Anyone else? I guess not. Thank you. Okay, let's go on to the city administrator's report. Mr. Cheney?
Yes, so just so you know, the pedestrian crossing sign is up on Crystal Park Road. And so far we had a few emails, compliments that they like it. So that'll help the kiddos when they cross for school over there. And then we're still working on getting the one by Patsy's Candy up. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Roy, do you want to
Denise?
mention the flags?
Well,
On
the flags are on Manitou Avenue, so we have it on the crosswalk. So number one is it's more visual anyway, whether they use them or not. And number two, if they use them, it does seem to help a lot where people recognize someone crossing the road with the orange flag in their hand. So we're excited that will help with safety for pedestrians. Thank you.
Thank you. Denise?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things is, as you saw, I sent you guys the annual report. We'll be getting that out and it will be in the paper. Also sent you the KPIs, so you saw those as we're looking at those and really looking at next year or this year, meeting with the department heads in February to discuss the KPIs and what we do as goals for that for this upcoming year. So we're working on those. And then March, want to just let you know about a couple of important work sessions coming up. March, Roy will be talking about the TMMP and the COG and everything that is planned for that. April, we will be giving a very in-depth work session on our water system and give you all the details on the water system, how it works and how where it's interrelated with CSU and those things. So those are two pretty important work sessions coming up just for information.
Great, thank you.
And we did open today, City Hall opened today. So we are now open 9 to 4, closed from 12 to 12:30 for lunch, and open for the public to come in. Of course, masks are required and all of those things.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, that covers everything we had on the agenda. So the last item is adjournment. Do we have a motion? Everybody, a motion to adjourn? Okay, great. We have a motion by Councilor Wolf, and I believe second by, was it Councilor Chandler? Maybe Councilor Wilbrook. And nonetheless, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. Looks like unanimous. Judith, how do you vote? Not that.
I vote to adjourn.
Okay, great. Well, then it's unanimous.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. we
Thank
have
you.
it.
I do want to say CenturyLink was supposed to get back with us and we still have not heard from them. So as soon as I hear something, I will send you an email.
Who was that you were talking about?
CenturyLink, we're trying to
CenturyLink.
get a response and
Okay,
not responded yet, but as soon as I get something, I'll send it to Judith tonight and to the residents that I know over there.
okay, great. Thank you all. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Hello.